have a frank conversation around money. I want to talk about how do you win the year financially this year. And I talk a lot about affluence, and I want to just lay the groundwork here real quickly. And those of you that know me know that it's not a training with me if I don't do any kind of drawing. So I might just do some drawing on the iPad for y'all and everything. And that is that affluence is often confused with opulence. And that's not what I mean. Actually, affluence has 4 aspects to it, and I'm going to draw it out for you, and you'll see it if you stay here. You'll be able to see it this way. But there's 4 things that affluence have, an affluent life has. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a student, whether you're a homemaker. It doesn't matter whether you're a corporate exec. This is the way I started to look at things, and you'll hear a little more about my story and how this came about. But the first aspect of an affluent life is that it's a meaningful life. And what do I mean by that? I mean that it's a life that gives you joy from the inside out. Gives you joy from the inside out. The challenge is that a lot of times we spend our life doing things that isn't giving us joy. And so what I want to do is make sure that, first off, that the things that you're doing are meaningful to you. The second aspect is that it's impactful. The first part, meaningful, is internal. Impactful is external. It's how am I making a difference in the people and the lives that I serve, the differences that I make, the people that I get a chance to be around. Okay, so it's impactful. Now, meaningful life is typically has to do with the plan that you put in place. Impactful life typically has to do with the vision you create. Okay, now there's 2 other aspects to it. Now, the third aspect, and this is the only aspect that has to do with money, is that it needs to be a fruitful life. I got to pay the bills. I got to look, and I'm an accountant, so we're going to talk about that. And so I want to pay the bills. It's got to be fruitful. It's got to take care of my needs. It's got to take care of my desires. It's got to take care of my dreams. Okay. And that's about building what I call a money machine. We'll talk a bit more about that over this year and see what needs to be in place for that. And then the third aspect, and this becomes really important, I think, from the context of what we're looking at, is that it needs to be a peaceful life. I mean, if we look back of where we've been in the last 2 years and everything, is at really understanding how do we live a meaningful life, an impactful life, a fruitful life, and a peaceful life. That to me is affluence. It has nothing to do with opulence. You can have affluence sitting in a tent in Montana or a yacht in Monaco. Okay, it doesn't matter what your definition of success is, or your definition is, as long as it's meaningful, impactful, fruitful, and peaceful. And so as we move forward, when we talk about affluence, I'm going to invite you to take that on. If that makes sense to you, let me know in the chat. Let me know that this is landing for you. Okay, so whether you have, and I want to be really clear on this, because the very first key is this: the money taboo is keeping you broke. The fact that we can't communicate, or that we choose not to communicate about money, is a problem. I was just reading a thing. It was a law that was just passed in Ohio, where now it's a requirement for all high school students to go through a financial literacy program. And when we do some numbers here, you'll start to see how we can cure the financial ills. Now, the problem with the money taboo is we all have these stories. We all have these emotions, and I have them. I've interviewed billionaires, millionaires, and on down to people that are just starting out. And, without question, every single one of them has some level of shame, blame, embarrassment, or guilt around money. Some because they have money, some because they had it and lost it, some because they don't have it, some for whatever reason, it's there. So the stories are something that we need to deal with. But if we have money problems, we can't solve money problems without having money conversations. How many problems in this world ever get solved without a conversation? So what I want to do is make sure that we have sane, safe conversations around money. And the first things to do is for you to commit to saying, I'm going to have a conversation. I'm not going to shun this money conversation. And I would be, I'd be remiss to do this if I didn't say this. I actually believe that there is no such thing as a money problem. Now, you might be saying, Mel, I'm trying to pay my bills. I'm trying to figure this out. What do you mean there's no such thing as a money problem? Now, this is hard for people to take on sometimes when I say this, but what you're really dealing with is a money symptom. See, where we are financially is a symptom of our behaviors, our habits, and our choices of the past. Okay? Everything's a money symptom of what we've done in the past. Here's the tough part of that. I now have to take responsibility of it. Remember what I said. You have to take responsibility. I didn't say blame. Okay. I am not without mistakes. I lost 1/3 of my net worth in a Ponzi scheme, well into 7 figures. Me and 2 other buddies, between the 3 of us, we lost $4.5 million. Okay. I had to take responsibility for it. I didn't take the blame, but I took responsibility because then it gave me the opportunity to say, I can change my behaviors. I can change my decisions. I can change my choices. And now I can change my money symptoms. And so it's important for us to start to have these conversations at a level that we start to understand that we're in the behavior game. It's not a money game when we look at it. So that's key number 1.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.